Good evening, everyone. It's 6 o'clock, August 4, 2023. It's 6 o'clock here and 4 o'clock in the Philippines. Noisy. Welcome to my small channel, Warrior Emmy. This is Emmy Toomer. I just want like to acknowledge the live viewers and silent viewers tonight before I call my guests. I have invited some friends, some Australian friends, some English friends. So I'm not sure if they're going to be able to join us, but so I'm going to try to speak English and Tagalog if I can. I feel more comfortable speaking in Tagalog because I like to be able to practice it more because I like Tagalog language, so I don't speak it. I only speak English. So if I speak Tagalog, it's something that I like, enjoy using. So, but anyway, if my son Chris in Sydney, he might be listening. So I'm gonna try to say some English and some Tagalog. Okay. So before I proceed, um, like I said, I don't have any script. I don't have any cue cards. So all I'm going to say is whatever comes out in my mind and what comes out from my heart. So I'd like to welcome the people, the friends that are here waiting since earlier. Vicky Asakawa, Mixed Plug. Welcome, Vicky, from Lisa Sakai as well. Lil G. Marin, welcome. Migalab shout out sa inyo. Si Jima Lagunday. Ellen Corman, Migalab shout out. Emma Fabli, hello Emma from New York. Roslyn Banalo, shout out po. Hello Helen. Dave will be here in a few minutes, so I'm just gonna say a few words first. Kalingap Jonah, shout out sa inyo lahat yan. Si Junila Miles, hello Junila Miles. Edmond Jalina, Migalab shout out. Lita Tiborcio, Fanny PH, shout out po. So what I'm gonna say is, let's see. Welcome to our 16 live viewers today, and also some silent viewers. So I haven't really prepared anything I was gonna say for myself. David is gonna do some of the talking, and there's some topic I'd like to explain after David. So I'm not sure whether David is ready, but if you have any questions to ask first before I'll call David, I'll be welcome to read them and answer any questions if you have any question for David. I decided to ask David again to participate because it's something, a change of topic, change of content. Instead of me talking about my own personal experience, David has a lot to share because he's traveled for the past many years. Since he was 24, he was traveling the world, so he's got a lot of stories to share with us. So instead of me talking all the time, I thought maybe I could invite David to come, and so he agreed. So hopefully he doesn't want to back out. So if you have any questions, if you have anything to ask me and ask David, I'm going to ask him. I'm going to answer the question. So voila. No question? No comments? Ay, Ate Amy and Kuya Dave, sabi ni Helen. Kamusta? Kamusta kayo lahat? I'm not sure whether my other son, I'm very particular inviting him because, I don't think they're comfortable seeing me on camera, seeing me on YouTube. So, no question. You want me to call David? He can talk. And before I call him, sorry about last night because Roel was live last night, and I thought I rescheduled it for today, but I forgot to rescheduled it last night, so it was, you can see them on screen upcoming. So I forgot to check that. So I'm sorry about that. So I rescheduled it today. So it's difficult to know who's going live in the Philippines. So it's very hard for me to know. Oh, wala. Questions. Nothing? Hello, Funny PH. Kamusta? Miguel, shout out sa iyo. I hope you understand David's British accent. He's going to try to speak slowly. So hopefully um, you can understand his accent. So I'm not sure whether hang on. I'm just going to try to get out of here. Okay. David? What? What happened?
Just laughing with Michael.
Well, I've started, and I thought, it's up to you what you want to cover.
Yeah, all right.
There's some people. I'm gonna try to.
Is anybody watching?
Yeah. Yeah.
Move across. Move across.
Sorry. Okay. So.
Hi. Hello.
This,
Good evening, afternoon, morning, wherever you are in the world.
don't try to be funny. I just want to welcome Lilia from the Philippines. Okay, so you can go ahead.
Okay.
So for David, what can you say about family? That's Lilia. I said, what can you say about the family?
No, hang on. I just lost my train of thought now. I totally forgot what I was going to say.
Okay, I won't say nothing.
Okay, well, I was born in England, in Dorset, which is a county on the south coast of England. A village of about 500-600 people. Very rural, farms all around, hills around the village. Very traditional. I moved there when I was about 5. Dad worked on farms, and where I was born, and then he had to change jobs, so we moved to where I grew up in a little village called Ewanminster. I know what I was going to say. I'll try to talk slowly, and hopefully you will understand. And I know a lot of you say you have nosebleed, but it's been my experience that many Filipinos know more English than they think they do. So I'm sure many who think they are not going to understand will probably understand a lot more than they think. But be that as it may, my dad, as I said, worked on a farm, and I grew up on farms and around farms with animals. And as a kid, we were always on farms. We're always in the fields with our friends, and the village kids, we all kept together. And in the winter and the evenings after school, we would go out into the fields and we would play soccer until it got dark and we had to come home. In summer, it was cricket, which is a very traditional English game. And again, we'd be out in the fields till it got too dark to see the ball, and then we would come home.
You said about the Matubang family.
No, so I was just trying to think what else I was going to carry on with. Yeah, so I went to we had a village school, primary school, which I went there until I was 12 years old. It was a small school. There was only 6 children in my year, and there was 4 years within the one classroom. So one teacher taught 4 years of kids, which probably about 20 to 24. From there, at 12 years old, I went to a senior school for another 4 years until I left. Dad lived until he was 66, and he died of an aortic aneurysm, which I had as well. Luckily, here in Australia, the doctors discovered it, and I had an operation, and they repaired it. And lucky for me, because it is a genetic one. So he died at 66. My mum lived on 30
92?
years living on her own, and she lived till she was 90.
Oh,
Um,
92, 90.
90.
Oh, 90.
So I had several jobs. First off, I worked on a farm and worked with animals, um, and many things like that.
Talk about the
Then,
Philippines. When you went to the Philippines.
well, there's plenty of other things I can talk about.
No, but they want to know what you think of the
Well,
Philippines.
you
And then
said
go,
you
no,
said
yeah,
people
I
want
know. Yeah, I know. But you can also say that another time. I mean, what I'm saying is, I think, I mean, I'm
who's
trying to
who's
give,
doing this? You or me?
I'm guiding you. They want to know if how do you deal with the Matubang family, because that's what say this is what this is all about, the charity, isn't it?
Uh,
Why I got involved and how you get involved, how
well,
you
I'm not involved.
are you not involved?
I
You're not involved.
I have no social media. I don't have a Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, nothing whatsoever. I
Nah,
stay well away from it all. When we got married, being a Filipino, she wanted to help her family. That caused
a lot of
a lot
fiction.
of arguments, a lot of friction between us because as a Westerner, we don't support our families because they work. Um, the government takes care of them if they don't. So there's no need. So having then, and because after we got married, we were struggling, wanted to buy a house, trying to save money before we have children. Her wanting to send money back home was an issue with us both, or with me, which tended to cause some arguments. But
We did
we did. And I guess over the last
5
44,
years.
5 years, we have sent tens of thousands of dollars over there. Um, we bought a jeepney, we bought tricycles, we bought welders, we bought TVs, computers, laptops, houses. All this we've done for the Matubang family. Um, when we got married in 1978, we went down to Malala, her family home, and I met her parents and probably most of her other siblings, although
They were
they
young.
were young at the time and they probably don't remember I was here, and I certainly don't remember most of them. Um, I would have met Val when he was young, and
Yeah, he was
we
only he
we
was
did meet him
in 2001,
20
was it?
years ago. We went to Diet, and
You saw.
Val, he was a very hard-working guy. I watched him.
Look,
His Edna was a school teacher, so she had a job. And Val, I was watching him. He'd come and clean, and he helped cook. And I remember he used to go to Manila, collect clothes, come back, sell them
he will
by
work for
riding
months.
around, cycling, walking around, selling clothes to make a living. A very hardworking guy. And I've known him from that time. I knew Rab, or Reggie as we knew him then, when he was about 7 years old. And this year
We met him
we met them all,
2020.
we met them all again. And Val now is doing something totally different. He was always a caring person that I could see, and to this day, he would give us somebody his last peso. And I've seen him take
They
his
always
money
come
out
every
and
day,
give
don't they?
people to just turn up. Yeah. Other people say they're charity bloggers.
But
They're not. They tend to hang on the money for themselves, and I've seen that firsthand. I'm not going to mention any names, but a lot of them start, as far as I can see, they start getting a bit big-headed when they start making money and they want to buy cars and houses. And anyway, that's none of my business. But Val,
Bali is
he
still
has
the one.
always been and always will be that sort of person who will give his last dollar to help somebody, no matter who they are, what they are, whatever. A very genuine person.
You've been robbed, died.
And yeah, I mean, I met the others. I'm not saying that they're any the worse. Most of the Matubangs that are involved in this are trying to do the charity, make a living also, which obviously you have to do. Um,
Yeah, all the Matubang basically were sort of, we like to help, isn't it? My parents like to help all the time, so that's why we all do.
yeah, I mean, I met her dad, but only the once, I think, and
And you met
he
Ang
died young.
Santos, yeah,
Yeah, and I met some of his other family, and I
cousin.
met her mother, and we helped her mother out, along with the other sister who's living here in Sydney. Um, we modernized her mum's house, and then since then, her other sister here has built a bigger one and concrete one. Um, her mother had problems with her eyes, so we between us we had cataract surgery done for her.
Yeah, so she managed to get a good life before she died.
Yeah, I mean she had a better house and a better life, and which
Yeah.
is good for her. Some people, many people over there, I see that, yeah, they're in a bad way. It's not just the Philippines too. I have been to about 80 countries, and
80 or more? Because we
a
have,
lot of a lot of countries have, particularly Asia, have conditions similar to what you have in the Philippines with poverty, people struggling to find food.
is that in Vietnam as well? They're like that? Thailand, Vietnam? Most
Just about
Asian
every
countries?
country has poor. Even here in Australia and England, people live on the street. They don't have to because the government will support them, but some still do. England, it's the same. Most Western countries have that problem. Now, as far as Westerners go, or no, as far as English people, speaking people go, we don't learn another language because everywhere in the world, everyone speaks English. So we don't need to. We're lazy. We don't bother to learn other languages.
But you do
So I
understand.
know
Do you
a
understand
few
Filipino
Filipino
words?
words. Sometimes when you speak Taglish, I can understand a bit with the English words thrown in. Um,
Yeah.
so, but one thing I was going to say, as I said, I was born in England. Now, you may have heard that there's England, United Kingdom,
Great
Great
Britain.
Britain. They're all pretty much one and the same. England is a country, is just England. United Kingdom consists of England,
Wales.
Scotland, Wales,
Wales.
and Northern Ireland. Britain, or Great Britain, consists of England, Scotland, and Wales only. So there are subtle differences. Um, so I'm
Do they
English,
have
and
different, what do you call it? Do they have different flags? National flags?
yeah, all those countries have their own flag and their own patron saint. England has St George, and it's a red cross on a white background. Scotland is St Andrew.
But
Wales is St David. Northern Ireland is St Patrick.
but with Scotland, do they have their own language? No. I know Wales has.
Scotland and Ireland have a Celtic language, but not many people speak it
What
anymore.
about in England? Do you have your own dialects?
In England,
But you have different accents though. Different,
yeah, we don't have different dialects,
but
but
you
we
have,
have different accents. You can go 50 miles and people speak differently. And
yeah,
some of them, even I have a problem understanding.
the
Some,
Scottish, very hard to understand.
well, yeah, in England, there's a thing called the Scousers. They come from Liverpool. There's Geordies who come from Newcastle, north of England. They have very strong accents, and some of those can be hard to understand.
But when you first went to the Philippines, which islands or which town did you go and visit?
I went there. I never knew anything about the Philippines. I'd been to Thailand, Singapore, Malaysia, India, Burma, all those countries, and I knew nothing about the Philippines. Um, I worked in the mines in Australia, and a friend of mine there was married to a Filipina, and he explained it to me, or his wife did, So I thought, well, I'll go. So in 1977, I went there
Tell
and I was there for about 5 months. And
you advertise on
no,
newspapers.
I don't go to that. No.
I know.
So I went mainly around the Visayan Islands.
Say
Uh,
what?
it takes too long.
No, no, it's not long.
Okay, I because you spoke reasonably good English in the Philippines. Um, I wanted to meet for
Locals.
friendship, although that I didn't realize at the time. Friendship, some
Philip
Filipino girls rather than say
going.
bar girls. Um, so somebody suggested, or I saw in the Bulletin Today newspaper, somebody put a little ad. Um, I don't know what it was. Englishmen would like to meet Filipinos for friendship. Please send photo, whatever, to the Bulletin Today. So I started walking to the Bulletin Today, and every day it was this pile of letters. I end, I ended up with about 210 letters from girls all over the
Philippines.
Philippines. I think I replied to every single one. Or I tried to, and basically returned their photos. And I said if I'm ever in the island, I'll come and visit. And while I was in Manila, I met basically two or three a day. Um,
What was the interview? Was it job interview?
no, I just wanted to just to be a friend and just to meet, talk. Um, but
So when did you go to Bisaya Island? Did you go to Bisaya Island
well,
first?
I used to go there, come back, Manila, go back. So I just kept back and forwards on the ferries. I think it was the Donna's this and the Donna's that, whatever they were.
What? What? What is that?
The ferries, they were called Donna something. Yeah,
Aldorna.
a lot of them, I think, sank
So
in
how
the
long
end.
does it take to go to Bisaya? A few
Oh, I
days?
don't know, overnight.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought 5 days. And that's
No,
in
no,
Davao.
no. Basically overnight.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I went to Leyte, Samar,
Iloilo. Did you go
Iloilo, Panay, Negros,
more than me? Did
Cebu.
you go to Did you go to Iloilo? Did you
Yeah,
go to
yeah,
Aklan?
yeah. I went. Oh,
Did you go to Aklan?
no, I think I was in. I can't remember now. I went to Rojas. I think city
Rojas?
Rojas.
Rojas, that's part of Iloilo?
Iloilo is a city. The island I think is called Panay.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Iloilo is a
But
well,
Panay is, Aklan is
part of Panay.
part of Panay.
Yeah, it's
It's an island,
no Panay is was like
peninsula.
that. Davao del Sur is like
Ah, okay,
thing.
okay,
So
okay, okay.
Panay was over there, and or Aklan was here. Panay is
So
the
did you
island.
visit all the Visayan
Well, most of
towns?
the big ones, yeah. I met
Negros.
a lot of well,
But did you go to,
made a lot of friends there.
you didn't go to Mindanao though at the time?
Not that time. No, it was only when I met you that I went down
Okay.
there. Um,
So how long did you stay the first time you went there? How long did you
where?
stay? In the Philippines?
But
1977.
5 months.
Oh, five
About five
months.
months. Yeah, I overstayed my visa, so when I went to leave, I had to go and visit here, there, and everywhere, and pay money and
Oh, but
Bureau
why
of
did you
Immigration.
overstay?
And well, I was enjoying myself, so I wasn't worried till I ran out of money. I had to leave.
Yeah.
Mm.
So then you went back the next year. Why did you go back the next year though? Why did you go to another country? Was it part of a tour?
Well, I bought a ticket in London for £300, and I took a bus from London to Athens in Greece, which was 72 hours non-stop bus travel to get down there. And I looked around Athens.
So how did you
Then I
cross?
went to
How did you
Egypt.
cross the ocean? Through ferry?
No, it's you travel by bus. There's no.
I know,
You
but
don't
the
have to have
bus.
an ocean. You go
But
through Europe, Yugoslavia.
yeah, but they have bridges.
It's all one.
Really?
It's continental
Oh,
Europe.
okay.
So then from there I went to Cairo in Egypt, had a look around there, and then on to Manila, and Manila down to Sydney eventually. So
Yeah.
I did that twice, that trip.
Mm.
So Is that it?
That's what you want to say?
um,
Oh,
yeah,
any questions? So Lilia said, "Oh, she loves Scotland, especially the national dance." Yeah, they do. What's that dance that they do? Is that from Scotland?
they do. I think.
What do you do? What do you call that? You know,
Yeah,
I don't know
they
what
do
they
a thing
call it.
called a reel. I think they have crossed swords and they dance around.
With the legs, isn't it? Is that
Yeah,
from
oh, that's you're
Scotland?
thinking of Irish dancing.
Ah, yeah, that's right. It's the
Yeah,
Irish dance. So only the Irish do that? That particular
yeah, it's the only
dance?
one I've seen. Yeah,
But what about in Northern Ireland? It's part of the UK then.
Ireland is
It,
divided into two. The top part
it's in Northern
is
Ireland,
Northern Ireland, which is controlled by
England.
Westminster or England, although they have their own semi-autonomous parliament. Southern Ireland
Is
is
that
its own country, and back, if I remember, somewhere back in the 18, England was a colonial power, and they controlled Ireland,
MS?
and the wealthy English people made it hard for the Irish, and there was a potato famine back. I'm not too sure. There was about 8 million Irish at the time on the island, and about 5 million of them left, and most went to America, I believe.
Yeah.
Um, that was the fault of the British upper class who controlled all the money. Um,
There's a question.
anyway, yeah.
There's a question here from Emma from New York. He said, "Which Asian countries you love most and why?" It's you.
I
How many? Which Asian country did you visit? Malaysia,
yeah.
Indonesia,
I mean, the Philippines was good. I mean, lots of islands, very attractive.
except that the
The
food. You have to.
problem, well, the problem with the Philippines is getting around there. Transportation is awful. It's because there's so many islands. Bus travel takes forever. We went Manila to Davao, 11 hours on a bus to get down there. It's only 300
What?
kilometers.
Which one is that? What
Well, we
means
just went
Davao?
there.
No,
Diet.
yeah, not Davao.
Oh, sorry, Diet. Getting from one island to the other, if you fly, you have to go
Yes.
through airports. The
Yeah.
airport system isn't very good, although I must admit Terminal 3 now is a much better airport,
Yeah.
a modern one, and much better. Just getting around is so hard.
But there's
Um,
tricycle and there's jeepney, but that's not
transportation in the city,
within the town or within the
yeah,
city.
it's so
Okay.
easy. You just hop on a tricycle. Well, that's if you can fit in a tricycle. We're a bit big.
No, within the city, within the town, it's easy because there's a lot of tricycles and jeepneys and buses. But flying over to the next,
Yeah, flying where you have to fly, it's hard.
complicated.
Yeah, so
And then,
that's the drawback of the Philippines is
and the
getting
food,
around.
the only problem with the food is that they put fat in them. You don't like all the bones. That's the problem.
No,
You don't like. You want to eat breast only. Only.
yeah, I want everything you can do with a knife and fork. I don't want to pick things up. It's messy.
Yeah.
But other countries, Burma or Myanmar, as it's called now, I loved there. I was there, well, in the 1970s, but I loved Myanmar. I loved Afghanistan. It was quieter then again. Pakistan, India, every country I've been to, I suppose, has its good and bad points. So I can't really pick one. Very difficult. I enjoy going to the Philippines. Um, not so much today because I'm getting older. Traveling, getting around over there now is harder for me or for us. And the heat and the humidity, when you're young, you don't worry about it. As you get older, it becomes harder to take. But I've been there, I don't know how many times now.
We're in the Philippines.
Philippines, 10 times maybe.
No,
I
yeah.
don't know.
2000.
So we usually go once a year, once every 2 years, I suppose.
Yeah. What else can you do? Hey.
Oh, it's enough talking, I think. People are probably sick of trying
I'm
to
trying
understand
to
what I'm
understand.
saying.
It's
The one I was probably going to say earlier, when I grew up. I was born in 1945, right at the end of the Second World War. And I guess, like the Philippines, suffered badly um, with the Japanese and what went on in the country at the time. And while England was never invaded, it was bombed very heavily. Um, and I remember when I was when I started, let's say, 5 years old. I mean, the buildings that I saw were bombed. Although I was in the country, weren't so badly affected. But food was a problem. We had issued stamps, so you could only have so much food a week for a family. Meat, clothing was all restricted, and it was the mid, I suppose, 1950s before restrictions came off and more things became available. So it was hard, but Dad always had a job. Mum worked when she could, so there was always food on the table. We never had a problem, and the Western country, the government is always there to help out. Not quite the
Yeah.
case in the Philippines. So I was very fortunate when I was born. I was born at just the right time. I had a brilliant childhood, lots and lots of friends. Loved going to school.
Yeah.
Loved working there. Um, I drove a
Here's I got
lorry
a
in
question.
London. Say
I got a question for you from him. I said, if you have your way, which country you would like to spend the rest of your life? Is it
England,
in England or Australia?
England, definitely England.
We were thinking about going back, going to England anyway, but the kids are here, so we couldn't really.
Yeah, it's hard to after so long to integrate back in. Um,
It's not easy to move countries.
too old now.
Like I thought about going to the Philippines and retire, but there's a lot of disadvantages in the Philippines because for medical reason, isn't it? Like, I
Mm.
mean,
I'm not naturalized Australian, but I'm English. I'm
mm,
always going to be English. I'm always going to be British. I'll never be Australian. But Australia has been very, very good to me and our family.
yeah,
It's given us a very good income, very good living. So I'm not faulting it. But you are where your heart is. And I think
where you're born.
for all you Filipinos living overseas, for whatever reason, your heart will always be in the Philippines, I'm sure. And while it's not always practical to go back there, but it's where your heart is. It's where your
Yeah,
probably your
that's
family
where
is.
you were born. That's where you.
Yeah,
But
that's
then
it.
again, a lot of Filipinos, like I speak, like the Philippines in Japan, as well as in America and Europe, they don't like to go back to retire in the Philippines because of there's
Well,
something.
it's a tough life, I suppose,
Yeah,
and a lot of them will probably have it good. Some of those that are married to
Western.
Germans, Americans,
Yeah,
whoever, have a very good life now. But it's not the same for all Filipinos. I know a lot of you overseas foreign workers are doing it tough. It's not the best conditions for you. Some of you, you get abused and poorly paid. You
yeah.
send all your money back home, and
The
not
OF,
always
the
the
OFW.
families or the people receiving it treat the money with respect.
Yeah,
It's easy come, easy go. They don't earn it.
I know.
Um, not all. I'm sure there's a lot of families that built houses and done right by it. But I've heard stories, and I've known one or two. But yeah, um,
They just take
I feel
things for
sorry for
granted.
some of you that I see them in the airports when we're flying in and out of Manila. They're all queued up, waiting to take the OFW flights back to wherever they are. And
Especially in the Middle East, it's hard life there.
yeah, no, I wouldn't want to live in the Middle East.
Yeah,
The Arab custom is women are definitely second class. Um, that's the way it is.
yeah. I
I'm.
think they're better now, isn't it?
I doubt it.
Sometimes the bosses, the employer, they're pretty
Well,
good now.
employers, even in Western countries,
They
you can
can be
have
bad.
bad employers, but here you can speak up for yourself. I
Yeah,
mean, if you don't like what your boss is doing, you can tell him. It's not going to get you the sack. Um, and I was always very outspoken with my bosses. Um,
yeah.
anyway, I'm getting a dry throat, so I think that's my
Yeah. That's your contribution.
my contribution to
Yeah,
your
right.
channel. Anyway, look, I hope you understood all of what I said, or some of what I said.
And tell him about how I annoy you about talking about the cleanup.
Uh, um,
Don't say negative. It's
no,
just
I can't say positive, so I better not say anything.
no, because you get annoyed because you don't want me saying the same thing. Like it when it's upsetting and when it's
What upsets her upsets me, and if she gets bashed, you're basically bashing me as well.
that's what Bal that's
And
what Bal said last night. It,
I I have wanted sometimes to get on there and say what I really
no,
feel,
you can't.
but she doesn't want me to. But I will always stand up for her. And some people who
They
put
got
on there, they're very small minded, or it's social media. People just want to say what they want, and it's a disease.
yeah.
Um, if you have nothing good to say about somebody,
Yeah.
don't say it. Don't say anything.
Uh,
Shut up.
I feel like the basher they do it not because they want to say a comment about something. They just do it on purpose of hurting somebody.
Yeah,
They,
that's the
you know,
small-minded,
they just yeah
ignorant, stupid people that want to do that. But to me, give credit. Uh, I
give
try whatever companies and things. If I get a really bad service somewhere, or so, I will contact this company or whatever it is. But rather than just yelling at them, try to be constructive in why it happened or why it
you
shouldn't.
gotta give
And
a
if you get
reason.
a good service,
Then you give
then
them another
then
yeah.
give them a good feedback. But most people, for whatever reason, are quick to blame the product, the people, what the service, but only a small amount of people give good, positive feedback, and that's unfortunate. That's the way we are, I suppose. That's us humans. So,
Uh
if you got nothing good to say, just shut up.
no, but
No,
some
I'm not
people
talking at you as
yeah
people, but I'm just saying is the world as a whole, social media as a whole. You know,
yeah.
say good things or positive things, or just send a
Oh,
couple of.
I said Lilia said Sir Dave speak very very English accent, not Australian, which is very slang and hard to understand. The Australian is hard to get. You
No,
can't
that
do Australian
if
accent, can you?
if I will always have an accent because I was 24 when I left England, so I was too old to change. But if I was talking to some other Dorset people, you wouldn't understand the word I'm saying.
Yeah,
We
very.
talk very quick. We speak the words you can't see. That's how we would go, and it would be repartee backwards and forwards, banter. We call it banter. It's very we're sarcastic. We uh, verbally abuse, and it's
It's
a
all for
two-way
fun.
thing. It's fun, and we have laugh at it. We try to put our friends down, and they do the same to us. It's an English way. It's also an Australian way too.
Say
Um,
here, Emma said, "Have your children visited England? If so, do they like to go and live
we
there?"
took them there
When they
in
were
1980.
91. I think they were still 9 years
Oh,
old and
we took them. Yeah, in 91. They were
nine. Yeah,
11 and 9. They loved it. And I remember a comment. I think it was Michael said to me. He says,
you have
"Dad, how come we don't live here?" Because we let them go free. They just run around in the fields, in the hills.
yeah.
And there was no worries. In the cities, you got to worry about
But
cars and traffic.
I always like England because we stayed in the countryside,
Yeah.
isn't it? We always live in the country. We stayed in the country.
Yeah, if you go to England, you go to the countryside, you go to a country pub, there's a fire going, and you have a few ales and nice food. It's
Yeah,
lovely. And Ireland was the same. It's exactly the same. Really,
and the
really.
people there are friendlier though.
In the country, the people are very friendly.
Yeah,
If you go into a pub, people will start talking to you.
yeah, but
In the cities,
yeah,
that doesn't
but
happen.
London is also nice. I like London.
Yeah, I love London. I worked there a couple of times. I drove a lorry in London. When I was traveling, backpacking, I wanted a bit of quick money. So I drove a lorry in London. We're delivering beers, wines, and spirits around the
Yeah.
centre of London. It was great. We saw many famous people driving around. Very good. Loved it. But
Yeah. So any more
no
questions?
responsibility, no cares.
Yeah. Yeah. No. So
now, now I've got her, the kids, worry.
yeah. No. You don't worry. You just get up and you get up early in the morning. You make me coffee and
Yeah, coffee and breakfast every
coffee and
morning.
breakfast. Yeah.
I do the washing, hang it out. I do the shopping. I
He
do the
doesn't.
gardening. I drive her here, there, everywhere. That's that's what it's about. She would do the same if the roles were reversed. So that's the way it is. I guess that's how we've lasted so long. But we do argue. We do shout at one another. we we yell and shout, and then we walk away, and then later on, oh, do you want a cup of coffee? It's all good fun.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good.
Anyway,
So
I think you've heard enough of my
I got 20
rabbiting
minutes
on.
to close off. Yeah.
Okay, bye bye.
Thank you. Thank you, David. Put that away. Thank you sa 20 live viewers today. Pasensya na kayo. If you don't understand, kung hindi nyo naiintindihan, pakitanong nyo lang ako, sasagutin ko. It's nice to be relaxed today na wala tayong masyadong viewers na nababasa ko lahat, hindi nag-roll. Mabuti nga pumayag siya na magsalita kasi ang pagkukwento ng kanyang mga share niya ng kanyang mga stories ay hindi yung isang kwento lang. Kasi over the years, minsan may mga kwento pa siya na hindi ko pa alam dahil minsan naiisip niya. May mga kwento siya na delikado. Halimbawa, nung magpunta siya sa Mexico, na biglang mayroong naglalakad siya doon sa isang madilim na kalye, tapos bigla na lang may mga dalawang pulis nakatutok yung baril sa kanyang likod kasi hindi bawal pala sa kanya ang maglakad doon sa kalsada na yun dahil at the end of that street ay ang bahay, parang Malacanang. At the end of that street, doon nakatira yung kanilang presidente. So, medyo magulo nung unang panahon na pumunta siya sa Mexico. So, yan din. Yung mga ganyan, kinukwento niya sa akin pag, halimbawa, namamasyal kami, kumakain kami, tapos meron siyang naisip. Hindi yung ikukwento niya lahat ng isang ganito. It takes him a long time before he tells you a story about something. So, may yung mga experience niya about travel, hindi niya agad na ikukwento lahat yun. Kasi marami pa siyang mga hindi na ikwento sa akin eh. So, saka hindi naman siya talagang makwento. Hindi siya masyadong madaldal. Ang buti nga pumayag ngayon. Gusto kong i-welcome si Remedia Arnejo. Hello, kamusta ka po dyan? Maraming salamat. Hello, Stariray. Bakit thumbs up nyo po ang aking kasi nakakalimutan ko ring mag-follow up. Paalala. Hello, Rohaina Kamama. Wave sa iyo. Saka si Shoni Newman. Hello po. Big love shout out po sa inyo. Madali namang maintindihan ang accent ni Dave kasi hindi siya masyadong mabilis magsalita. Dahil kailangan hindi masyadong mabilis dahil marami ding mga tao dito na mga migrants, saka pag nagsha-shopping siya, kailangan niya magsalita siya ng mabagal dahil may mga tao na hindi masyadong sanay sa accent niya. Kaya ganyan siya magsalita. Nasanay siya magsalita ng dahan-dahan ngayon. Kung pumunta sana kami ng England, kung nag-retire ka sa England, madaling mamasyal doon sa England kasi from England, you can just catch the ferry and then you drive through the tunnel. O kaya ferry. Dito sa Australia, pag pumunta kami ng England, ang tagal, ang layo. Mag-stop over ka pa sa Dubai o kaya sa Singapore o kaya dire-diretso. It takes about, by the time we get there, probably 7 hours from here to Singapore, and then maybe 20 plus hours from Singapore to London. And then we have to pick up a car hire. It takes 3 hours from London to the village. So it's a long trip. Kahit na-retired kami, mahirap, gusto namin pumunta ng Europe, pero ang tagal. Masyado nakakapagod. Nakakapagod yung, nakakapagod yung biyahe. Pag yung nung unang panahon, we don't care. Saka, you just keep going. Kasi pag umaalis kami, minsan 2 buwan kami wala. Dahil kung, gaya ng sinabi ni Kuya Bal, ang lugar lang daw na nakakapahinga ka ay bahay. Totoo yan, totoo po yan. Pero depende rin sa bakasyon nyo. Alam mo, gaya namin, pag pupunta kami ng England, we stay 2 months. So, ibig sabihin yan, nag-i-stay kami, nagre-rent kami ng cottage, para na ring bahay namin yun. So, araw-araw lumalabas kami, pero hindi yung lakad ng lakad kasi meron kaming kotse, saka relax kami. So, iba naman yun. May iba-ibang klase ng holiday. There is a holiday that you have a car, and may mga lugar naman na you don't walk very far, like Singapore. Singapore, you have to walk. But we didn't walk. When we went to Singapore, we always take a taxi. Kasi dalawa lang kami. We always take a taxi, and then, so we didn't have to walk. Kasi it's so hard to walk in Singapore. So, yeah, Australia is so far away from the rest of the world, so it's quite hard to keep traveling. Sabi ni Jesus, hello, welcome sa Rugawa. Hello po, Ma'am Amy. Hello, Jesus Pamindanan said, Madam, have you tried to bring him over so he could experience how the Filipinos... Yeah, Dave went to the Philippines in 1977 for 2 months. And then he went back 1978. That's when we met. And then we got married. And then it took another 10 years before we went back to the Philippines. So we went back in 2000. I went back in 98, 97 on my own, but David and I went back in 2013, 2014, 2018, 2020, and then 2023. So David is with me all the time from since 2013. So yeah, he's been there a few times. Hello, Noemi Ganyo. Shoutout din sa'yo. So, nasagot ko na yun, Jesus, yung tanong mo, ah. So, kilala niya ang he's familiar with Asian mga costume between the Thailand, kasi he spent a lot of time in Thailand. He spent a lot of time in Indonesia, in Burma, and we spent 3 weeks in Vietnam. We took a tour for 3 weeks from the top of Vietnam all the way down below. And then, took 3 weeks. So, meron kaming sariling van and a driver and a tour guide. So that was 3 weeks tour. The only way he can explore his personal experience among countries nationwide, try and plan to very nice weather like December. We went in January, Jesus. We went in the past, we went in January, we went in February, we went in September, we went in November. So we went there different times of the year. Pero January is a rainy season in Dait. But it's a good weather in Mindanao, in Davao, in Malalag. It's a good weather. But in Dait, it's a rainy season in the whole of January. And it's good weather in Manila, I think, because it's not hot. We don't like to go to the Philippines in summertime because it's very hot, it's very humid. So we went there a few times. We went there September at one stage, October, and then we went there September and October. We usually spend time in Malalag, and then we spend time in Davao City, and then we spend time in Manila. We went and spent a week in Ilocos in 2010, I think. Yeah, so we've been around. Hello, Vicky. How are you? Kamusta ka na? I think it's Ligi Marin. Hello, Ligi Marin. Kamusta ka? Hello, Jude Andre. Biglang chat out sa'yo. So, yeah, mahirap din at least, kabisado niya ang mga Pilipino because of me. And yung mga nung nasa Sydney kami, maraming mga Filipino within the town of Ingleburn. We stayed in different suburbs in Sydney. So there's a lot of Filipinos in every suburb. So David is exposed in the beginning when the kids were growing up. We used to attend parties. So he's very exposed to Philippine culture. He's very exposed to Philippine food. The only problem with the food in here, I don't cook. I don't give him the bones. I don't give him the fat. We don't cook the fat. We throw away the fat, and I don't serve him the chicken legs and chicken thighs. He only likes chicken breast. So in the Philippines, every time you eat in a restaurant, they serve a lot of fat. So he doesn't like the fat. So that's a problem. So wala kayong, meron ba akong na-miss? Kasi minsan nami-miss ko sa taas. Sabi ni Javier Elsa, "Hi ma'am, good afternoon. Happy to see you together with your loving husband." Hello Cecilia Chavez. Hello ma'am from Tagum City. Hello po. Kamusta po kayo? Hello Lilia. Ang Scotland is nice. We've been to Scotland kasi the first year we went there, that was a long time ago. That was in 1980. We bought a round the world trip kasi it's cheaper to buy a round the world ticket. So you can, as long as you travel around the world like that, you can stop as many countries as you want. The only problem with that is that you need plenty of time. So we only had 6 weeks at the time kasi we were both working. So instead of flying direct from Sydney direct to the UK, we bought Air Lufthansa, I think. That was a German airline. Because David wanted me to see not just England. He wants me to. He bought a ticket where I could see other countries. So we flew to Amsterdam. They flew to Amsterdam. No, we stopped in Hong Kong and we flew to Amsterdam, and then we stayed a few days in Amsterdam. Then we caught a train from Amsterdam. It took a few hours to go to France. So we stopped in Paris. We spent a few days in Paris. Then we took a train to Le Havre harbor and caught a ferry from France, and then we got off in Shaftesbury in England. So in a way, the trip that we did, I was able to see a few countries in one visit. That was my first visit in UK. Kasi si Dave is a backpacker and he likes to travel. He likes to explore. So when we finished work, we were lucky. I was 52 and David was 59, and we decided to stop working. And the boys were out. Michael was working in here in Melbourne, and Christopher joined the army. So when we left work since 2005, so we travel every year. So we will be out of the country for a few months. Then we come back, and then that's when I started doing my voluntary work. So I did voluntary work for a few months, and then we travel again, and then that's how we did it. Because when we were a lot younger, then we didn't mind traveling. Kasi in the old before COVID, we didn't have to go to the airport 3 hours before. You can go there like 2 hours before, and it wasn't very strict. You have to wear your face mask, and also too, you didn't have to have vaccination, and so it wasn't very strict in the olden days. So now it takes you got to be in the airport 3 hours before. So it's very tiring now to do it. So with the question, we are proud Filipinos because our warm hospitality to our neighboring Asian and American partners, in comparison, the seafood we had and fruits are very sweet, the same as this. Yeah, we like the fruits, especially in Davao. In the locals, they have them in Manila. When we were in Manila, he always go to Schumart, SM. I think they got a lot of fruits there. So we'll eat a lot of fruits. He likes lanzones. The only problem with lanzones is it's a season fruit, isn't it? So when we go there, sometimes like January, they didn't have any lanzones. They have mangoes. I think they have mangoes. But we have plenty of mangoes in Australia as well. So what I miss is the bananas, the cooking bananas and the sweet bananas and the finger bananas. So I miss a different bananas. I would like again for David to be in your life, for you, Emmy. We can learn more from him being an adventurer. I don't know if he's gonna agree to that. I'm gonna ask him. I'm gonna ask him one day. Hello, Armila Panganiban. Hello po, Tita Emmy. Watching you here in Nueva Ecija. Kamusta? I think we got our first cousin living in Nueva Ecija. Yeah, I think one of our Matubang first cousins, he said. We are proud. Tama ka dyan, Jesus. Where are you based, Jesus? Are you based in America? Or based in the Philippines or in Europe? I mean, when it comes to ambience, you can't beat the Philippines, okay? The, the Philippines, the friendliness, the noises, the atmosphere is always exciting for me, okay? I always enjoy being in the Philippines, like when I'm in the Philippines, especially when I'm with my family in the Philippines, it's always exciting. I don't get tired. The only problem there is you cannot even get dressed because the sweat, the sweat in pawis is always pouring. So I always look miserable. I always look like sticky. You cannot put any powder on. You cannot put any makeup on. So you always look like you're untidy. That's the only problem with me. But overall, I like the food. I like the company. I like to listen to different music. I like dancing. So I like going to the beach. I like the water. Kasi dito, you cannot swim in the water because it's freezing cold. Even in summer, you cannot swim in the water here because it's really cold unless the water is very shallow. But where we are now in the Mornington Peninsula, uh, it's quite cold here because we're colder than Melbourne. We're only an hour and 15 minutes, 1 hour and a half minutes from the city of Melbourne, but we're a lot colder than Melbourne. We have the breeze. We're in the middle, like in the peninsula, and we got the beach here and beach there, and all this breeze like that. It's quite cold. So in summertime, especially nowadays, we get longer winter than and longer summer, except that the water is still a bit cold. It's too cold to swim. But in the Philippines, the water, the ocean, the beaches, they're always warm, so it's nice to swim. Hello, Pauline Cervantes. Hello po, I mean, abutan ko din po live nyo. Hala, ano na yata ako, malapit na yata ako mag-goodbye. I would like again for David, sabi ni Emma. Hello, Mami Jobs TV, Lepotitas. Nabutan ko po ang live mo. Tapos na yung live kasi kanina ang asawa ko ang nagkwento ng konti, ng ano niya. I salute Sir Dave for his enthusiasm to go for travel as much as you can. Money meant to spend, not in the bank. That's right, yeah. That's right, Jesus. We're lucky because nowadays, I think the migrants, most it's so different now. See, during our time, you work for 3 months and then you become permanent employee. So during my time, we get roster day off every 2 weeks, every fortnight. I mean, every 2 weeks, yeah. And every year we get performance review. So we get salary increase, and we get 5 weeks, 6 weeks holiday with pay, and we also get maternity leave with pay. I think nowadays a lot of people are on contract works. So when I left work because I was only 52, when we were not traveling, and then I I was registered with agency. What do you call that one? I used to get phone calls if I want to work 1 week, I want to work 1 day or 2 weeks or 1 month. So sometimes I accept on 1 week job, okay? And then I start working 1 day, 2 days, and then after that they will extend it to 2 weeks and then 3 weeks. So I ended up working for 2 months, 3 months. So if I'm home, if I'm not going anywhere, I will stay with the job. And then when we travel, then I stop because I'm only on contract. So job is pretty easy during my time. So now I don't work anymore. Hello po tita, nabutan ka. I s- you had beauty and brain. Why not what you asked for? Thank you, Jesus. Alam niyo, Jesus, ang I admit, when I was in Davao, okay, we have 5 minutes. When I was in Davao, I was so lazy to study, and I thought I was very stupid. I didn't think I was stupid. I think I wasted the teacher's time. I never really learned anything in the elementary there, and I didn't really learn anything in high school. I realized it's just because that I had no one to motivate me or no one to mentor me. I think it's so important for kids to have a mature older sister, older auntie, or because the mother they don't have time for us. Yeah, it's 9 of us or 7 of us at the time, maybe 8. So my mother never had time for everyone, and I didn't have anybody, and always hungry, because it's not enough food. So I don't know why I was so lazy to study. The reason why I found out I had a brain is when I went to live in Taguig. So I had to go to school, high school there. That's when I realized that I cannot play around anymore. I need to start studying. That's when I realized that I was very good. And then when I came to Australia, I wasn't enough for me. I realized that I missed out a lot on studying in the Philippines. So that's when I started learning here. I enrolled in information technology, and the more I study, the more I realized that I want to learn more. I want to study more. So I attended a lot of courses, which was free. The company paid for them. So I managed to learn. I managed to study. I went to a lot of workshop, 5 days workshop, 3 days workshop, and then we have a lot of computer courses, and the company paid for all of that. So even now, I'm still studying. I'm still learning. There's a lot to learn on different application, different. Especially, I'm doing a lot of editing on my videos. So a lot of creative that you need to do, or building thumbnails and that sort of thing. So I like learning. I like studying. You Ay, magbabay na ako, 7:04 na. So I'm really happy that I have all these people here that are listening to David today. So thank you very much. Marami pong salamat. So nandiyan ka sa Jesus? Are you in the Philippines or are you in America? Are you based in the Philippines? Life is too short. You're 77 years old. Oh, you're younger than David. David is 78. He's 78. Age is only a number, Jesus. I mean, I don't feel the age. I don't even think about the age. And if you're young at heart, you can, as long as you can still walk, and you can still think, you can still communicate well, you can still dance. To me, age is just a number. So magpapaalam na ako. Thank you sa mga nandito, yung mga mga silent and live viewers. Thank you po. Thank you sa lahat. Wala tayong maritisan dito sa channel ko. As you know, my channel is 100% charity. So, my first priority when I do live is interacting with the viewers. Ang first priority ko ay magkaroon man sana ng topic. We have a topic that we can discuss, that we can share. It's not about lecture, or it's not about telling you what to do. It's about sharing stories, sharing experiences. And then secondary and the last is the revenue. I need revenue for my charity, but that's just the second priority. That's just the second one. The first one is always interacting with my viewers. So alam niyo naman na gusto ko i-acknowledge saka yung mga viewers, saka supporters, saka subscribers sa channel na ito. Kasi yung channel na ito ay hindi ko ina-expect na lumaki yung subscriber ko within 2 months. So within 2 months, I'm now 9,700 something. I can't remember now. 70, I can't remember. But it's more than 9,000 na within 2 months. So very thankful ako sa mga nag-subscribe sa akin dahil ang channel na ito is transparent and I'm trying to save up money for our mission. So yeah, ako yung nagpapasalamat sa mga nandito, yung mga nagsusuporta. So I'm very, very thankful. I'm here in the Philippines. Yes, I'm enjoy it much. Okay, nice having chat you, Madam. God bless and good day. Say hello to Sir David. I will, Jesus. I will. Hope to see you again next time. Reply na lang kita, Amy, sa full live mo. Oo nga. So next time na lang, mag-iisip ako ng maganda. Kasi gusto ko sanang i-cover yung isang topic, pero next time na lang. So ako yung magpapaalam na at sana po ay hindi po kayo magsasawa na na mag-join sa aking live para magkaroon tayo ng kasi ang mga I find that the live I'm trying is I start to get what you call it, getting used to it now. So mas gusto kong nagagamit ko ang Tagalog ko pag kasi Tagalog is my favorite subject. My mother is Tagalog, so Tagalog was our first dialect at home. We spoke Tagalog at home. So we only spoke Bisaya when I went to school. But I'm comfortable with Tagalog. I can say a bit of Bisaya, but otherwise, I'm more fluent in Tagalog. Dahil nung pumunta ako ng Maynila, 15 lang yata ako. 15 years old. So, yung siyempre mga kabag-anak ko doon sa Maynila, sa Taguig, Tagalog ang gamit namin. Pero I like to listen to Bisaya. So, catch up with you again. Hello, Lisa. Kamusta na lang? Thank you, Emma. Thank you sa lahat. Thank you, LG Marin. Thank you, Pauline. I'm just trying to see whether I missed something. Thank you, Jude. Thank you, LG Marin. Thank you, Nomi. Kenyo. Thank you, Regawa. Kamusta po? Hello, Shoni Newman. Hello, Rohaina. Lily Hobila. Hindi ko yata nabasa si Lily kanina. And Estrida Remihia. Hello, Lilia. Kamusta po kayo? Hello. Hello po sa inyo. Hello, Cecilia E. Chavez. Kamusta po? Hello, Christian Olaguer. Hindi ko yata nabasa yung iba. Hello, Marilyn Cunanan. Ngayon, nababasa ko na lahat po. Pagbabakrid ako. Hello, Marilyn Cunanan. Kamusta po? Pakitthumbs up po niyo lahat. Kung pwede po. Kalingap yun na may glove shoutout, sabi ni Christian. Hello, Nancy Padua. Yes, I can understand you, Kuya David. Singaporean accent is difficult to understand because Chinese. Oh, nga, ang Chinese accent is very difficult. Hello, Arlene Natarion. Kamusta po kayo? Hello, Lilia. Nasagot ba niya yung hindi niya pwedeng sabihin yung mga negative lang. Positive lang. Kamusta po, Helen? Ikaw din. Si Edmond Janila. Kamusta? Hello, Fanny PH. Binabasa ko lang kung meron akong na-miss. Hello, Lita Tiborcio. Kamusta po kayo? Edmond Halina. Shout out po sa iyo. Hello, Junila Miles. Shout out din sa iyo. Hello, Jonah. Kalingap Jonah. Kamusta din? Hello, Emma. Kamusta? Okay, pagpapaalam na. Hello, Roslyn Manalo. Pa-shout out po watching from Malaysia. Fans Rochelle. Kamusta na lang mga fans Rochelle? Shout out sa lahat ng mga fans Rochelle. Sa ating hello, Ellen Corman. Sarap nito, nababasa ko lahat. Sana wala akong na-miss. At ako ay papasalamat sa inyo. Kaya goodbye na po. God bless. Thank you so much. Marami pong salamat. Bakit kayo dito nag-stop ito? Meron ba akong na-miss? Thank you. Wala ba akong na-miss? Jude, wala po your good heart, ate. Your good heart. Kasi minsan, hindi. Pilapil, good, your good heart, ate. Good. Thank you, Jude. Thank you. Nasa lahi siguro namin na matubang kasi kasi ako kahit awa naman Diyos kasi mabait sa amin ang ano ang Panginoon dahil maswerte kami dahil we retired early. I retired at 52 and then today 59. Although I was able to get contract job kasi independent kahit ano yung ginawa ko, bookkeeping, admin, secretary, receptionist. Minsan gumagawa I was able to do accept a job writing technical notes sa mga for the auditors. Tapos yung mga, I was involved in creating databases. So, yung nandun ako sa Sydney. So, ibig sabihin, maaga kami nag-retire. We were able to do that. Tapos yung kung ano man yung ngayong buhay namin ngayon ay okay at saka yung mga bata okay. So, yun ang importante. Yung okay kayong lahat. Okay kaming lahat. So, marami pong salamat. Bye po sa inyo lahat. Thank you. Thanks sa lahat. God bless po. God bless po sa lahat. Thank you. Bye-bye.